Let me recognize you, Mayor Muchotli, and thank you for the opportunity to say a few words from the regional perspective. Allow me to recognize Honorable Tembi Similani, the Minister responsible for Human Settlement of the Republic of South Africa, Maria Amuhela. She is standing in for Honorable Pemi Majadina, Minister of Water and Sanitation of the same republic. Allow me to recognize representatives from the SADC member states. Allow me to recognize the Executive Director of SADC Groundwater Management Institute, Dr. James Sauramba, fellow members of the SADC Groundwater Management Institute Board of Directors, colleagues from the SADC Secretariat, our international cooperating partners. I'm not going to mention your names, but I know you are here, and great numbers. Other distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to say all protocols observed. Dumelang. Dumelang. G20 is just around the corner. We have to feel the vibes. Dumelang. Good morning. Bonjour. Bon dia. Habari. You are here, Tanzania. Thank you. It is my distinct privilege as chairperson of the board of the SADC Groundwater Management Institute and as the Director of Infrastructure at the SADC Secretariat to welcome you to this August gathering, the 7th Conference of SADC Groundwater. We are not merely opening a conference, we are convening a regional cabinet of thought and action, tasked with steering one of our most vital resources through the turbulence of our time. As mentioned, the theme before us, investing in groundwater for climate action, is not a suggestion. It is a strategic imperative. The SADC-GMI board views this theme not just as a topic for discussion, but as the central thesis for the next chapter of SADC's development and resilience. The SADC-GMI board provides the governance and strategic direction for this institute. And from where we sit as the board, we have observed a critical evolution. The dialogue has successfully shifted from whether groundwater matters to how we must strategically manage and invest in it. Our role now is to engineer the next shift from isolated projects to a fully integrated, regionally scaled program of action. And if I were to pause here, Honorable Minister, I'm so happy that you're here, and I think it's a blessing. We always talk of a nexus. It is befitting that we have the minister responsible for human settlement discussing serious issues of groundwater. And we know where South Africa is with informal settlement. So I think it's a blessing in disguise that you're here, Honorable Minister. The foundational work has been laid through the research presented at previous conferences, through the diligent implementation of projects across member states, and through the establishment of SADC-GMI as a recognized center of excellence. The question that now sits before this board and before all of you as leaders in this sector is this: do we have the political will and the financial creativity to capitalize on this foundation? We are done with small, demonstration projects and what have you, and I think we have made a statement. When we as the board speak of investment, we are speaking in the language of assets, returns, and risk mitigation. Groundwater is not merely a resource to be used. It is a strategic natural asset to be managed, valued, and protected. It is our most strategic buffer against hydroclimatic shock. In an era of climate-induced economic disruption, groundwater represents a buried treasure of stability for our agricultural sector, our rural economies, and our urban water security. It is the bedrock of social equity. Reliable groundwater access is a powerful tool for empowering women and girls, for stabilizing communities, and for preventing conflict over scarce resources. This is not a side benefit. It is central to our regional peace and security. It is the key to unlocking sustainable growth. No significant investment in agro-processing, mining, or industry can proceed without water security. Groundwater is that silent partner in every prospectus for economic development in our region. Therefore, the business case is clear, as I have mentioned. The task before us is to package this case in a way that compels finance ministers, private equity firms, and international climate funds to see groundwater not as a sector for aid, but as an asset class for strategic investment. Now, let's look inside. What have we been busy doing in the last 12 months as SADC-GMI? The last 12 months have been a period of intense and fruitful activity, demonstrating that our institution is not just talking, but delivering. I'm going to share some of those highlights of what has happened. One, on institutional capacity, we have moved beyond establishing national focal groups to making them operational. We have received and are acting on requests from Namibia, from South Africa, to revitalize their national focal groups. And we are actively identifying members in Zanzibar. This is what country ownership looks like in practice. On knowledge generation, our flagship knowledge platforms, the Groundwater Information Portal and the Groundwater Literature Archive, are being radically enhanced. We are developing intelligent reporting modules, integrating artificial intelligence tools, and have signed memoranda of understanding with universities like Mzuzu, Botswana, and Namibia, turning our academic institutions into engines of data collection and research. Furthermore, critical studies are advancing in the Tuli Karoo, Shiro River Basin, and Bupusa Basin, providing the scientific bedrock for transboundary cooperation. On building the next generation, our Young Professionals program remains a crown jewel. From a successful series of webinars to the groundbreaking first SADC-GMI Winter School in Harare, Zimbabwe, which trained 30 young water experts, and we are basically systematically building the human capital that will steward this resource for decades to come. On direct community impact, through the substance schemes, we are translating policy into tangible benefits, and I'm pleased to report that several base grant projects in countries like South Africa, United Republic of Tanzania, Zimbabwe, and Eswatini are completed, providing resilient water sources to communities. Our competitive grants in Lesotho and Zambia are showing strong progress, with multiple boreholes successfully drilled and tested. These are not just projects. They are proof points that investment in groundwater changes lives. On governance and stability, a major milestone for our institute which the board oversaw closely, was the resolution of our headquarters status. The formal MOU with Orascom now provides a stable legal and administrative foundation for our international staff in Pretoria, de-risking our operations and allowing us to focus on our core mandate. This brings me to the critical role of governance and policy. The board's mandate is drawn from the highest regional instruments. The SADC Water Policy 2025, whose review we actively, through a validation workshop in April, provides the modernized blueprint for strengthening governance and promoting conjunctive management. Let me just report back and say the very same policy was adopted by the SADC structures, by ministers responsible for water, by the SADC Council of Ministers, and noted by the SADC heads of state and government. So it is live. It's a framework that's worth looking into. Alongside this, the revised protocol on shared water courses provides the legal and diplomatic machinery for managing our 30+ shared aquifers that do not recognize the borders on our maps. I also want to appraise you that we are in the process of reviewing the same protocol, so we shall see this coming on board in 2026-2027. So our collective challenge is to breathe life into these frameworks. This requires mainstreaming groundwater explicitly into national development plans and investment budgets, finalizing and adopting the transboundary aquifer management guidelines to de-risk cooperation and unlock joint investment, championing the role of river basin organizations as the implementing arms for conjunctive management at the basin level. Our partnership with LIMCOM, OCACOM, Orascom, and others are not optional, they are essential. Honourable Minister, distinguished guests, the board is acutely aware that ambition without financing is merely hallucination. Our strategic pursuit of financial sustainability continues. While the success rate for large grant applications has been challenging, we are making progress. We have active project development with partners like IFAD, IMIM, and IUCN on critical areas such as managed aquifer recharge and coastal aquifer management. The recently signed contract with Cuvecom is a concrete example of mobilizing GEF resources for targeted basin assessments. However, we must be bolder. The board challenges this conference to think beyond traditional donor funding. We must explore blended finance, de-risking instruments to attract private capital, and innovative models that value the water security services that groundwater provides. Over the next 3 days, you will delve into the critical sub-themes of mitigation, adaptation, and equity. The board will be listening intently. We do not need another catalogue of challenges. Please, let's refrain from always lamenting. We need a clear set of actionable recommendations. We challenge you, the experts and practitioners in this room, and our partners also, to provide us with the following. 1, prioritized investment pipelines. If you can, identify 3 to 5 bankable, high-impact investment opportunities in groundwater management, in data, infrastructure, and governance that can be tabled with financiers before the next financial year. 2, clear governance innovations. Propose specific actionable models for transboundary cooperation and national institutional strengthening that can be adopted by our member states. 3, metrics for success. Define for us the key performance indicators by which we, as a board, should measure our collective progress in 5 years' time. How many more communities will be water secure? How many more aquifers will be under sustainable management? This is what we are requesting from your good selves. Your outputs must be sharp, strategic, and ready for translation into board-level decisions and ministerial briefs. Now I wish to conclude. Honourable Minister, esteemed guests and colleagues, we stand at an inflection point. The science is clear. The policy frameworks are aligning. The institutional capacity through SADC-GMI is growing and delivering tangible results, from the winter school to the completed sub-grants. What we declare here in Boxback must echo in the cabinet rooms of our member states and the boardrooms of global finance. Let us live here with a resolute commitment to make the coming decade not the decade of groundwater dialogue, but the decade of groundwater delivery. The board of SADC Groundwater Management Institute is ready to play its part. We invite you to join us in this critical endeavor. And having said that, I want to thank you, and I wish you fruitful deliberations during this 7th Groundwater Conference. Galeboha. Asante sana. Merci beaucoup. Obrigado.